Hi, Tiffany Timmons here with the Mindset of Planning Goals for Sales Professionals, Part 2. You should have already completed Part 1 and your homework. So Wheel of Life, you've gone through that exercise and you've done your list of 101, be, do, or have. You might not have 101, but I hope you've really stretched yourself to come up with as many as possible. And you've qualified your goals. That list was in the Part 1. And then you've picked 2 to 3 that you really want to work on. We're going to work through a personal goal and then a professional goal during our time together today. So you probably want to know, how do you get results? This sounds great, Tiffany, but don't waste my time. I got to make sure I see results. Absolutely. And the more clear you are, the more likely you are to manifest results. Florence Chadwick, are you familiar with her? Amazing swimmer who broke a lot of world records swimming across the English Channel. And one of her goals had always been to swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco. Well, if you've never been out there, or if you have, you know that that water there is really cold. Oh, and it's shark infested. And it's foggy a lot. So on the morning of her first try, she got in the water at Alcatraz and started swimming. Very foggy. There were sharks around her. Her mother and her coach were trying to shoo them away while she was swimming and encouraging her to keep going, keep going. And she got to a point, she said, I can't do it anymore. Pull me up. And they took her out of the water. And once she was out of the water, she realized she was 200 feet from the coast of San Francisco. Now, Florence said, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but if I could have seen the coast, I know I could have kept going. A few weeks later, on a clear day, she got in the water, same route, and successfully completed her swim, being the first woman to swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco. So being able to clearly see where you want to go will help you focus on where you're going. You've heard me say it before that studies show that people who are always thinking of where they want to go are more solution-oriented instead of being focused on problems. So we want you to have vision of where you're going. Crystal clarity on where you want to go. And we want to focus on completion rather than perfection. Focus on completion. So don't worry about it being perfect. It's not going to be. It's never going to be. That's not what's important. We want you, though, to have your plan and start working it. It's also important for you to realize that knowing why you're here won't change anything. Many times when I'm coaching people, we'll start to go down the rabbit hole of talking about why they're in a position, why they aren't the sales manager, why are they a sales rep, or why are they at this company and this other company went out of business. You know, it doesn't really matter. Where you're going is what's important. So what you will walk away with from this module, a clearly defined goals for your long term, whether that long term is a year or 5 years, and a 90-day goal and plan to start executing immediately. Don't wait to be great. We're ready to start right now. So a GPS has 4 points. And this is what's important as we do your internal GPS. It's where you start, how you get there, when you get there, and where are you going? Where is that final destination? All of those 4 points are what's going to make up your 90-day plan. But if you've been with me for a little while, you know that variable mindset training, VMT, is absolutely imperative to everything that we're doing. So we're going to start there in asking, are you above the line or below the line? Kind of like a little game show. All right, are you an eagle or are you thinking like a duck? Are you proactive, or you probably fill in the blank here, are you reactive? Are you thinking do, or are you thinking don't do? What excuse can you come up with to not do something? Are you using discipline, or are you undisciplined? Remember, a successful plan has desire, discipline, and design. Today, we're focusing on your design. What does it look like? And could do if instead of can't. This one's a really important one, and this will really change how you think. If you've gone through the right mindset training with me, this though is extremely important because so many times we're thinking, oh, I can't do something. If we can switch our thinking to, I could do it if, that's where you're going to put yourself in a solution position. Activity versus inactivity. If you're in sales and you want to see results, massive activity equals massive results. So do you choose to be above or below the line? It's all your choice. We have so many choices that we make every single day. What's your choice going to be today? If you've ever read children's books, you realize a lot of them are written in rhymes. And the reason being that rhyming is a way to engage your brain for retention. So this is one that I came up with on the planning process. And the process is simple. It's not easy to do. You can bet on results when you see it all through. It is simple, and I'm going to walk you through it. It doesn't mean that it's easy, though. Again, do you have the discipline to go through it, and do you have the desire to go through it? If not, you're gambling with your future. So it's up to you. Do you want to plan or do you want to gamble? Who likes shortcuts? Oh, I love them. If they really work. I have found in life, though, there really aren't shortcuts for the things that are most important. Shortcuts are just that. They leave you short of your goal. If you try to shortcut relationships with people, they're not going to be fulfilled. If you try to shortcut the effort you put into your career, it's going to show. Shortcuts, they don't really work. So as a sales professional, have you ever felt a bit lost, unsure of what to do, really unclear on what you're doing? Or on the other side, you feel just plain busy and you're running, but you're frustrated because you're working so hard and you're not seeing the results that you think you should be. I've been there. I have felt them. So if you've ever had those feelings, would you benefit from clarity in what you are striving for? Focus in the day-to-day. So at the end of the day, you don't say, I was busy and I got nothing done, but you say, I was busy and I feel really good about what I've accomplished. Confidence in how to do it and clarity on why you're doing it. 80% of small businesses fail in the United States. And the reason is not due to lack of passion or lack of hard work. It's because of lack of planning. And the statistic for sales reps who don't succeed in their position is not far behind that. Sales, though, is the greatest profession because if you know how to plan and execute, you will always have a career. Isn't that comforting to know? Zig Ziglar says that it's the easiest low-paying job or the hardest high-paying job. That's above and below the line, isn't it? Above the line is it's a hard high-paying job, and below it's an easy low-paying job. So which choice and which direction do you choose? As we are getting closer to getting your goals down in black and white, I want to give you a little warning because some people will go below the line here and they'll say, well, my sales manager gave me this goal, or, my owner gave me this goal. It's not my goal. However, if you're given a goal at your place of employment that pushes you to be better and achieve more, and it's your responsibility to get there, doesn't that make it your goal? Anything worth doing is worth doing well. So if you've been given a goal, your challenge to rise to is to find a way, being solutions driven, to make it work. My favorite story about this. So whether you're an art and history fan, you can appreciate this story of competition, backstabbing, and triumph. I'm sure you've heard of Michelangelo. No, not that Michelangelo. This Michelangelo, the world's most famous sculptor. Well, he had competition just like anybody else, and Raphael was actually one of his biggest competitors. So Raphael devised a plan. And when Michelangelo was out of town, he went to the Pope, and the Pope was the one who decided who worked on what projects. And Raphael told him, I think you should have Michelangelo paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. See, Michelangelo was so well known for his sculpting that nobody could even come close to him. So Raphael thought, what? If I make him go and paint frescoes, which he's not really good at, he's going to get so angry that he's going to get mad at everybody else, and he will start to lose his respect and clout that he has within the community. Boy, did that plan backfire. And here's the finished product. But let me share with you some of the challenges that Michelangelo faced while doing it. Well, at first, scaffolding was built under Raphael's guidance, so you can imagine how that was done, and it was attached to the ceiling. And Michelangelo said, well, how am I supposed to paint once the scaffolding comes down where the holes are? And Raphael said, well, you'll figure it out. Well, he did figure it out. He fired that carpenter, took all the scaffolding down, brought in somebody else, and nobody really knows exactly how it was done, but it was done in a way that nothing touched the ceiling or the walls. Michelangelo also brought in help from other painters, but he never kept them in there long enough with him where they could ever learn the secrets to his painting. And contrary to popular belief, he did not lie on his back while he painted. He would actually crane his neck back so far, and he did it for so long that for months after this was completed, he couldn't read or look at a drawing by looking down. He had to hold it up and crane his neck back. So the Sistine Chapel was revealed to the world in 1512. And the artist who was thought to be unable to paint frescoes ended up painting the world's most famous fresco. It wasn't his goal. It was commissioned to him, it was given to him, and he took it, and look what he did. It's all about how you think. Where is your mindset? Your mindset is going to play a role in all three components within your sales success. So today we're focusing here on your vision, your goals, and tracking. We're going to end up with your KPIs, your key performance indicators, making sure that you know exactly what to focus on. The two other areas we're not going to be getting in today, but are just as important: rapport, and that is getting to somebody, getting to a prospect to that level of being that go-to advisor where they trust and like you, and there is a process to do it and to do it quickly. And the third part is the scripting. This is where your confidence comes in and you are prepared when you are talking with somebody. You've got your value props, you've got your money questions, you know what to ask to move sales forward. And it's all about the positioning, how you ask questions, where you ask those questions within a conversation. Let's get your internal GPS set on where we're going, also known as your RAS, your reticular activating system. We're going to start off with the goals procedure chart. These are going to be bigger picture. It might be a year goal, it might be 2 years, 3 years. After that, we're going to break it down into 90 days. We want to take this big elephant and create those bite-sized pieces for you. After that, then you're going to end up with your KPIs, which are your key performance indicators, and your micro-marketing plan. That there in red is what's going to give you confidence throughout your day, clarity on what to do, and always having a plan to follow. If you follow these steps, it is my personal guarantee that you will see bigger and better results than you have ever experienced. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want. We do want to focus on completion, not perfection. If you don't have it yet, go ahead and print out this goals procedure chart. And now we want to take your goal that you've already gone through and qualified it and take it through this process. So you should have already qualified the goal. You asked yourself, is it really my goal? And remember, if it was a goal that your manager or boss gave you, think of Michelangelo, can I see myself reaching this goal? And is it consistent with my other goals? The key thing there is that consistency. If one of your goals is to lose 10 pounds, and then another goal is to go out for dinner 4 nights a week with friends, not really consistent. So make sure you're really checking on that consistency. I'm going to run you through on the personal side. Remember, these goals don't have to be only professional. I also want you to get practice in doing them personally as well. So I'm actually going to walk you through one of my personal goals. So first one, what is your goal? To write a cookbook is one of mine. You can pause this and go ahead. We'll do this together in your own space. Write down what your goal is. Second question, why? What's in it for me? Well, I've personally become so enriched with cooking. It's helped me to be healthier, happier, connect more with my family. I enjoy teaching my children and building memories with my family and friends. So I would love to share with other busy mothers a Lebanese style of cooking that's fun, healthy, and not as hard as it seems. And the bottom line is it's fun for me. So go ahead and write your why. What's in it for you? What are the obstacles to overcome? Once we know what the obstacles are, it's much easier for us to devise a way around them. Don't skip this step. So the obstacles that I've determined, time, recording everything in detail. Those kind of go together. So how do I get to my notebook fast enough in order to write something down? Really not knowing how to put together a book. I've never done it before. And another obstacle I imagine is I need to find test cooks. So once I have some recipes together, I need to find people who are actually going to test them and see if they really work the same way I think they do. What are your obstacles that you need to overcome in order to reach your goal? The skills and knowledge that are required for me to reach this goal. I might need some real cooking skills, not only my homegrown ones. And I have to learn how to write a cookbook. I really don't know what goes into it and how to promote a cookbook. Now that I've identified those skills and knowledge, I can then start to think, where do I go for those? Go ahead and write your own down. So who are those people and those groups that can help me to get my cookbook written? My mother-in-law is already a wealth of knowledge that I've recorded as much as possible of tips and recipes. Upwork is a place that I go to find contract work. I could probably find somebody who can help write it. I have a friend who's actually published cookbooks, so I need to interview her. And Evernote is something I've looked into, but I don't know it all the way yet. A place to record ideas quickly. And cooking classes. I've taken some more would be a good idea. Go ahead and identify your groups and people that can help you reach your goal. Okay, now it's time to develop a plan of action. So these are some things that I need to be aware of. I need to continue the practice of weekly meal planning, where I record what I'm cooking and then also the response that I get from my family. Writing down all the meals and recipes that my mother-in-law cooks and making sure that I observe her while she's doing it. That's been a big part of learning. And then try some new dishes to make. I can't only stick with all the old ones. Start writing out these recipes and asking friends to cook them and give me their feedback. And then start thinking through the chapters to be written and filling them in. Go ahead and write down your plan of action. And finally, when will I complete it? Like I said, some of these can be long-term or shorter term. This is a long-term goal. I'm probably thinking 2020 will give me 4 more years of compiling and practicing all of this information. And go ahead and give yourself a deadline. Now let's shift over to professional goal. We're going to go through that same process in order to develop our professional growth. So number one, what is your goal? Mine is to leverage my training and coaching by using technology. You're actually experiencing that right now. And why do I want to do it? Well, I can work with more people. I can help more sales professionals and leaders, and then our time spent together is going to be more impactful. For many years, I would go through this whole process with people one-on-one. And I've learned that I've got to start leveraging my time a bit more so that I can reach more people. And I want to eliminate repetition. Since I've been doing it for a while, I want to be able to get in and work with people one-on-one without having to do the tactical information, which is all very important and it needs to be done. I'm finding a better way to do it. So what obstacles do I need to overcome? Time ends up there, which I need to plan my time. Packing in all the golden nuggets, because I have so many different pieces from different trainings. And when I work with people, it usually brings out other learning so that I can help them get those BFOs, the blinding flashes of the obvious. So how do I package those into my training? Technology frustrations, organizing all these modules, and then going back and revising them. You're probably catching a couple mistakes that are in here. This isn't the final product. There's that constant and never-ending improvement that I'm also living right with you. So go ahead and write down your obstacles to overcome. Okay, what skills and knowledge will be required? Well, I need to absolutely get the skills of how to organize these modules and learn more about voiceover. How do I use my voice to communicate and really drive home important messages? Maybe I need to get some better editing and software and learn how to use Evernote. As Evernote should save my life, right? When it comes to organization. Go ahead and write down your skills and knowledge that are required for you and your goal. Okay, who are the people that can help you? Father Josh Wagner's really helped me immensely in building websites and creating some of my content. I need to go back to him though, because I need phase 2 now. Other trainers and coaches, my own coach, my assistant can also help me. And as I'm looking at this now, there are other people that I should include in this list. So who are the people that can help you reach your goal? Now we get into the plan of action. So my plan of action is I need to identify each module, sketch out the vision for each one. What do I want people to walk away with? Have my assistant type it out, revise it, continue to add those golden nuggets, and then prioritize them. Which ones am I going to work on first? Begin recording them, publish, share, and test. Test and measure. You'll hear me say that a lot. Ask for feedback, and I need to add to that, then adjust based on that feedback. So go ahead and write out your plan of action. All right, our last part, when will you complete it? Well, part of this is going to be ongoing. And I want to make sure, though, I have 16 modules created by the end of 2016. I was in Disney World a couple years ago, and they had one of the new parts of the park was under reconstruction and being rebuilt. And there was a quote on there that I saw that I can't help but share, but it says, "Everyone needs deadlines." A little wisdom from Mr. Walt Disney himself. So make sure you're very specific as to when you will complete it. So make sure you get 3 to 4 goals in your goals procedure chart. Go ahead and pause, work through it. 1 to 2 should be personal. And then the other ones, we want to make sure that they are on your professional side. Focus on completion, not perfection. Don't get bogged down in too many details yet. That's when we get to the 90-day goal. Don't worry about that here, but focus on completion. Work through it. Push yourself through the process. Now, if you're still having a hard time coming up with goals, sometimes it is easier to think of what we don't want than what we do want. Let me show you. It's easier sometimes to say, well, I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want to go broke. Once you can identify what you don't want, it's easier to identify what you do want. I actually learned this from Jack Canfield. Then you can change that to, I want to be healthy. Then what does healthy mean to you? That might mean working out 3 days a week. That might mean losing 20 pounds. I don't want to go broke. Well, now we can change that to, I want to save $5,000 a year. Much more specific on what you want to reach. So get those 3 to 4 done. Oh, I already have that here. I'll delete that. And if you're feeling a little bit tired right now, this is where your persistence is really going to pay off. Remember, what are the 3 things that we need to succeed? Desire, design, and discipline. This is where you've got to dig down deep for that desire and push through on the discipline. The process works. I guarantee it for you. So we've addressed the long term with our goals procedure chart. Now we've got to take that elephant and break it up into bite-sized pieces so that you can start to really eat it. And we want to get really smart about your goals. So when we go to this 90-day goal and plan now, we want to be very specific. We want to make sure that it's measurable. How do you know that you really achieved it or not? Unless you can point exactly to where you crossed the finish line. Now, attainable, what that means is it means that it needs to be something that is within our reach. If my goal is in the next 90 days to go to med school, well, that's not really even attainable. I have no background to do that. Or if my goal is to go out and start a plastics company, again, it's not attainable. So it needs to be in your wheelhouse. Relevant, and that's going to be about your why. If it's not relevant, you're not going to want to do it. And time specific. As we get into this plan now, we're going to start really breaking down what things happen and when they happen. The more specific you are of your goal, the better your chance of fulfilling it. Remember that vision, Florence Chadwick. If she could have seen the coast, she would have been able to continue swimming. So the more specific you are, the better your chance of fulfilling it. If you still have any doubts about the benefits of planning and what it's going to do for you, how about taking the stress out of your day-to-day life? Would anybody benefit from that? And bring focus and clarity to each day? How about give you confidence in the things that you're doing and that they're the right things to do? And knowing what works and what doesn't work. Test and measuring. Would you like to celebrate wins? How about communicate better with other people because you have clarity on what you need and what you might need their help for when you make a request? That discipline, design, and desire. Keep going. Let's get to your plan. Your 90-day goal here is the sheet. You can print this out if you like to handwrite it. There are a lot of studies that show the value in writing and what that does for you when it comes to goals and planning. Either way, though, you can also use the Excel sheet and type it in. So here's the 90-day focus board, and this is what's in the Excel. I'm going to take you through bit by bit so you don't have to read this whole thing at once. We're going to go through it step by step so that you can do your own as well. So here's an example of a 90-day goal. This is actually one that I got from somebody that I was working with, and I'm not going to tell you that it's perfect. We went back and got a little bit more clarity around it, but I want to show you where you can certainly start. So the first thing is purpose and clarity. What is it? What is it that you want to do in these next 90 days? We're only taking a bite-sized piece. Remember in school how fast a 9-week period went? I mean, it flew by. Semesters went pretty quick, but those quarters just went by so fast, and that's what 90 days is. So what is it, 90 days? This person wants to obtain at least 2 new clients by the end of Q1 with a minimum of $2,000 a month in revenue. And why is it important? Well, she's got to replace lost business, and then she wants to increase the profitability of the company. So go ahead and write down your 90-day goal, purpose. Get clear on what that coastline looks like. Now let's get you focused. What direction are you going in? What are your objectives in these next 90 days? So this person is to attend meetings, to learn about client needs, generate proposals, and increase profitability of company overall. We went back and we tightened this a little bit more. That's okay though. Again, we just want to get it completed so then we can tighten up after. Go ahead and write down what is your plan of action and what are your objectives in the next 90 days. Focus 90 days short term. Keep your mind right in that place. Once we finish that, we're going to get into the specific activities. What are you going to execute? What actions are you going to take? Now, she's mixed up a little bit of some KPIs down here that you'll see, and that's okay. So what she's going to do, she created an 8-point marketing plan, and she's going to start rolling that out the first week in January. So week 1, she has an email going out, then voicemail, then email, and you can see exactly what she's doing. So she has 50 reaches going out in that first week. So go ahead and write down your specific action items that need to happen. You'll also see here who, what, and when. Some of these, sometimes your 90-day goals might be working with other people. So you want to be specific about what somebody's going to do, who's going to do it, and by when is it going to be done. So once you've done all that, again, hit pause. You don't need to go through this super fast, but you want to be very clear on that 90-day goal. And the 90-day goal test is if you handed it to somebody, could they execute your plan? Well, this one, no, they couldn't execute it yet because we had to go back and rework it to get more detailed. So put yourself through that test. Give it to a coworker. Ask them to assess you and share their feedback. Then we absolutely need to get to our key performance indicators. What do you need to track in order to make sure that you're hitting that goal that you've created? And I love it in sales because it's really quite simple to do. So for her, she wanted to create her KPIs around her marketing activities. So her goal each week is to have 50 outbound marketing activities, generate 7 leads, get 2 conversations. Now, what's interesting at this goal is she's never really tracked it before. So we don't know what works and what doesn't. First week though, she did create 4 leads with 4 conversations. These are the ones that I really usually recommend to most salespeople. You might need to change and tweak it a little bit, but making sure that you get the leads, those first conversations, first meetings, and second meetings, because once you remember, another key part of our training is our scripting and your preparedness. That's where you're going to be able to flow through this process and know that every prospect you have starts at the beginning, and when you go through the entire process, they will end up at the bottom of closed business. And if they don't, you'll have very clear understanding of why they don't. No more chasing prospects down, not knowing why they're not calling you back, not getting any response from people. This whole system is created to eliminate that. So make sure you have your sales KPIs. Remember, you can go back to that Excel spreadsheet and change it as needed. You might also have resources, a program you're using that tracks all this on its own, and that's great. Make sure though that what you're tracking and what you want to measure is tying back into what your goal is. Now, if you take only one thing away from these 2 modules, make it this: get good at goal setting and that planning. The results are going to amaze you. So we want to plan our work and work our plan. Here's our cycle we go through. We plan our work, we work the plan, we learn from it, we track, we celebrate wins, we start over again. And this circle is going to grow and grow for you. Because someday when it's all said and done, you're going to either say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. And I certainly hope you're on the side of, I'm glad I did when it comes to goal setting and planning. Go ahead and send me those 90-day goals once you're finished with them so that I can do the plan test with them, give you feedback, and let's improve them. Get through it. Focus on completion, not perfection, and make sure that you can say, I'm glad I did. Because in 90 days, you're going to look back and you're going to be amazed at what you were able to accomplish. Bye for now.